Hello and welcome to episode 4 of One Stitch After Another, one of the thousands of knitting podcasts that are out there on YouTube. I'm very glad that you've chosen to click on this one, if indeed you have. Do go and make yourself a drink, a warm drink I think, because the weather's not brilliant, is it now? We're heading towards the dreaded month of Christmas. I've got a coffee, which I need actually. What can I tell you since the last time I was here? Shall we start with a little trip that I went on recently? We have a friend who is a reenactor. He is a member of the Sealed Knot and takes part in living history events centred around the English Civil War, and he is a musketeer for the parliamentarians. And we've been to a couple of events that he has been in. We went to the Battle of Edge Hill. On my other channel, which I'll link in the description box, if you're into that kind of thing, I have got a couple of living history videos. Very exciting. But there is something that's held twice a year in the Midlands called the Original Reenactors Market, or TORM for short. And our friend was looking for a musket rest, so we went along to keep him company, and there is a lot of stuff at this market for the fabric crafter and knitter. So whilst I was there, I got to speak with the lovely Ruth Gilbert, who is a member of Good Wives, who do a lot of spinning and knitting from unusual fleeces such as Romney sheep. And then I met a woman, I think her name's Sue, she's called the Silk Woman, and she gave me a little demonstration of what she was working on. My goodness, such fine work and the patience of a saint, keeping alive a medieval craft. Have a little look at this. Sorry for any background noise.
It's a little bit labour intensive, this knot, because I have to tie individual knots.
And what would this actually be when it's finished?
This is a period accurate version of a 13th to 14th century silk hairnet.
Oh wow.
That would be worn by an elite type of woman, and she might have worn it under a headdress combination called a barbette and filet, which is a little bit like a linen circlet that you wear on the top of your head, a little bit like an open pork pie hat, I guess. And a little piece of linen that goes over the top of your head down to the underneath of your chin, which is great for medieval facelifts, as it were. And they would quite often wear a hairnet underneath, because particularly if you were a married woman, you wouldn't ever be seen with your hair uncovered. That would just be the wrong thing to do culturally, and for lots of other different reasons.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Indeed, yes. It was to do with modesty, culture, to do with covering your hair if you were married, so that it was just your husband that would have the pleasure of seeing your hair.
So very puritanical.
Unbound, just kind of faith-based, cultural-based. And what panics knitters is that when this comes off like that, they say, oh, you can drop stitches.
Oh my word!
No, because this bone gauge simply creates the right size of hole.
That is absolutely fantastic.
And then in I go again and get ready to do the next layer of, because you can put quite a few loops onto the gauge, but then you need to move around, because this is basically a spiral.
Yeah.
And it's getting to the point where it will be not far off head size, and then it will be something like these once a ribbon has been sewn around the outside of it.
So how many hours would it take you to complete one of these?
One this size, which is about a 6mm gauge, will take on average 50 or so hours, give or take.
It's amazing.
But if I'm working at a smaller gauge, I've got a net behind me which is a red one there, and also a blue and white striped one, and they both are more like a 1mm gauge.
Yeah, hundreds of hours.
About 500.
Yeah.
I know that because I made those as something akin to a piece of experimental archaeology, because I wanted to see if I could match the smallest known mesh in a surviving original object. And there are two mesh pieces that I had in mind, one which is in the collection of the V&A in London.
Gosh, prestigious.
And the other which is a hairnet, which is in a beautiful little museum in Belgium. And both of those objects had mesh that was about 1mm in size. So I had to have some tools made for me, reconstructed from museum originals. I took measurements and photographs, gave those to someone who made some for me, and then fondly said, please don't ever ask me to make another one again. And so I have those tools, and it allowed me to make the smallest mesh that we know survives which I was
amazing,
rather pleased to do. It was a bit like, I guess, a challenge to myself,
yes.
As part of my research, to see if I could do that, and the answer was yes.
Thank you so much for
You're
sharing that with me.
very welcome.
So I think there was a little glimpse of one of the hairnets that she'd worked on in the background. 500 hours work, such fine gauge, and to have some work exhibited in the V&A, the Victoria and Albert Museum, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So we had a little talk about what I'm wearing. So I finished this earlier this year. It is quite a nice loose cropped, I've got quite a lot of positive ease here, sweater. I'm wearing it under a dress, yes, because I wouldn't want any accidents. You know, a woman of a certain age with a belly that you might not want to show, wittering on, sorry. This is, I think it's called Thelma by Martin Story, and it is a really old Rowan pattern, and it uses Rowan Angora Haze. I am a sucker for Angora. So this isn't 100% Angora, it's got something else in it, but it gives that lovely halo. Now I know that there's a lot of controversy about Angora. I think in the past some of the farming practices were not particularly cruelty free, and I think there's a lot more education and knowledge about sustainability and about animal cruelty, and I think that there are some suppliers out there now who are producing ethical Angora, which I would be very much interested in, because it is a beautiful, light but warm yarn. Now this pattern has got a lot of stitch definition. There's a lace, there's a cable, but actually this yarn doesn't do the pattern any favours, and I did use the yarn that was called for in the pattern. I don't even know what I've done with it. It's in a collection of about 8 patterns, maybe 10 patterns, specifically using Angora Haze. I think they're all designed by Martin Story. But I think if I could find it, I might knit it again, although life's too short to go back, isn't it? I might knit it again. I think it would look really good in a crisp cotton or, you know, a merino. Yeah, so that's what I'm wearing today. And I've got a black cardigan. I've got black tights and black shoes on. If I had knee-length boots, I'd be wearing those, but I don't have any. I've got a black cardigan for when I go out later, because I'm filming this on a Wednesday. I don't think you'll see it today unless I can get it edited, but it is my knitting night tonight, which I'm very excited about, because we go to a really lovely little bistro, Wine Bar Bistro, and I don't know if I'm going to have wine tonight because it's a school night, but I shall have something nice to eat and take my knitting. So that is that. I've shown you the Silk Woman. Now we need to talk about finished objects. So I think it was on episode number 2, I showed you this little bear. Let's take her scarf off, actually. I showed you this little bear and I asked you to help me name her, and yes, you did help me name her. Oh, shall I do it now or shall I do it in a bit? I don't know. Anyway, yes, it's finished and it is ready to give to the recipient. I don't want to let go of her. And I've knitted this little scarf out of an Emma's Perfectly Practical sock. Just garter stitch. I think there's 8 stitches. It's a bit wide. I didn't want to do a garment in the end because I didn't want to cover her lovely little body up. There, look. That's nice, isn't it? And then I've made a box. Yes, I've made the box with the lid, and they've both got like a reinforced edge. And let's put that way round. And It says Across the Light Snow. And then I've made a little book. I'll take you down and show you the little book. So I thought I'd bring you top down to have a little look at what is inside this box and the little bear close up and the book that I've made. I am a paper crafter as well. I have another channel where I concentrate on that a bit more, Paper and Twine. I'll leave a link in the description box. And here is the lovely little bear with her little scarf on. It's knitted out of a Emma's Perfectly Practical Small, I think. Yes, it's a very big scarf. Anyway, we'll sit her there. I'll tell you her name in a minute, and let's bring in the little book. So this is for a little girl called Maya, and I know her mum quite well. And I actually teach Maya drama at a Saturday theatre school. And her mum had seen a bear that I'd made for somebody else and said, oh, my little girl would love one of those. And anyway, here we are. I have made her. And because the little girl's name begins with M, I think I wanted the little bear's name to begin with M as well. You sit there. There. She's going to have a little listen to her little story. So this is, if any of you are into papercraft, this is Stamperia paper from the Arctic collection, is it? I can't quite remember. But I know that she likes snow leopards, and there weren't any snow leopards in this paper collection, but there are like Arctic foxes and things, and I thought it would fit in. So it says, to my new friend Maya, this is a little book all about me. I hope you will like playing with me. And this is all little backgrounds that I've made with distress oxide inks and various other little techniques. So I sort of splodge on a little bit of the ink, and then I've stenciled here for wallpaper. So my name is Martha and I love marshmallows. Please look after me. This is my daddy, Marmaduke. This is my mummy, Marigold. And my baby sister, Molly. Mummy is always looking after her. It's a cute little bear. Let's come over this way. I like to look out of the window and watch the sheep. So it's all rubber stamped, just on some little inky backgrounds. I do wish I could draw. Sometimes a little hare comes into the garden. In the United Kingdom, in the UK, we have a stamp company called Lavinia Stamps, and she's very popular. She does mythical creatures, fairies, lots of foliage, and this is little Pippin the hare. Little stamp only costs £1, but I love him. And this is one of her little birds. I love to hear the birds sing, and this foliage here is one of Lavinia Stamps' foliages. This is my friend Mungo. He brings me raspberry ice cream. And finally, I believe in fairies. Do you? So the little book itself is 2 1/4 inches wide by 2 3/4 inches tall, just to give it a little bit of context. And then I've made the box with this reinforced edge. So it's been sitting around a while, so it's bowed a little bit with the glue that I've used. But it's a very, very sturdy box. So we will put you back in and I will reveal her name. Now, one thing that I have done is a little hidden giveaway. I thought that I would enter people into a little giveaway to win. Hold on a minute. I've got a little mini skein here. I've just chosen one to send because it could be an international winner that wins this, and postage will be frightfully expensive. If I draw somebody that isn't a knitter and doesn't want yarn, I will send them something else. Yes, I love this Emma's Perfectly Practical Smalls. It's her Perfectly Practical sock base. It is very, very soft, and I love the colours in this. So you'll be able to knit something really cute with this. the people that entered. I've got 27 comments. These are the names that were suggested. So T-Gal1 suggested Lydia. Chargump, I love that name, 9465 was Betty Bear. Not Ye Old Crochet said Claire Bear. Fibre Floozy Crafts suggested Joy. Patricia Havash suggested Miss Molly. Sandra Kitchen, Matilda. I liked Matilda actually. Elf 237, Bessie Bear or BB to her friends. Gail Sutherland, Betsy. Chatty Batty, Pod. I liked that. Joanne Falconer, Annabella. Julie Jealous 632, Bronte. Loopy Sue, Bryony Bear. F. Gel Rosa Strick Podcast, Nelly. Karen Teague, Pearl, as in the, you know, not the stone, but the knit stitch. Anne Lane suggested Sarah, Becky, Katie or Marley. Pamya's 1982 suggested Bonnie Bear. Karma Brown, Snuffles, I do like that. Welsh Sal, Quinn the Mighty. Now, I do like that name, but it was for a little girl bear, so I thought that was a bit too powerful. Purple Nana suggested Mabel. I do like that name as well. Jackie Proctor, Miss Molly. Have we had a Miss Molly already? Yes, we've had a Miss Molly already. Christine Carpenter, Lucy. Have a Go Joanne, Morag. Kelly Fasikas suggested Becky. Sarah Loves Donuts. Oh, so do I. I've had one today. Suggested Ruby. Avril Crisp, I love this name, Mr. Bertie Bazik, and that is definitely one for a bear in the future, but this was for a girl bear, so yes. Queen of East Pond suggested Hope or Joy, as I've beaten cancer, or Lizzie, as I'm busy. She said I was like a busy Lizzie, not the flower. And then Glenda Bathgate suggested Martha. And as you can see, I went with Martha, not necessarily because of Glenda, but because I like the name Martha. And then I've chosen Marmaduke, Molly and Marigold, yes. So I have got a little duck race here. I have put 27 numbers, one for each of you. And we're going to do this little duck race and we'll see who wins. Good luck, everybody. So all these ducks have got little numbers on. I do love their little quacks. Who's coming out in front? I wonder if I can close that. Oh, come on then, come on. No, I don't want an ad, thank you. 19's out in front at the moment, but 11's coming up sharpish, as is number 20. Or 27 though, on the end there's coming. Oh. So what number is that? It is number 2. Number 2 is the winner, and that's the lady whose name I liked, Chargump 9465. So if you can email me, Chargump, that would be fantastic. Right, you can shut up now and we'll go back up top. So yes, I love this. Love this paper, love the box. We'll put little Martha in her home and hope that she will be loved by her new owner. There she is. And yes, what was the name? Hold on a minute. Yes, Chargump 9465. I'll send this to you if you're a knitter, no matter where in the world you live. If you're UK, I might put something else in with it as well. If you're not a knitter and you don't want this, let me know and I'll send you something. I've got an idea actually. But I love this. I love this yarn so much. I'm obsessed with it. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. So well done to Chargump 9465. I will leave my email in the description box and I'll leave it open for, let's say, 3 weeks. And if I haven't heard from you, I'll draw again. And yeah, so 3 weeks. If I haven't heard from you, I think that's plenty of time for you to kind of get in touch with me. I'll draw again for another winner. So that is that. Let's put a little circle around there so I know who that is. But thank you so much for your engagement. And talking of engagement, I'm going off piste here. Yes, I don't stick to a plan. I've got notes down here, but they're not doing me much good. I would love to host a knitting night, a virtual knitting night here on YouTube. And as I don't have 1,000 subscribers on One Stitch After Another, I can't go live on YouTube unless I use another streaming service. So I'd love it if you joined me every other Monday, possibly starting this Monday, on my other channel, Paper and Twine. I'm going to host a live GMT, roughly between 6:30 and 7:30, just for an hour. Bring your knitting, bring your crochet, bring your cross stitch, bring your card making, whatever it is. And yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So I'd love it if you joined me over there and subscribed over there as well. But it would be lovely to just have that engagement. That's what I love about YouTube. I'm not in it for the money. I think I've had my Paper and Twine channel monetised for about 14, 15 months, and I haven't earned a cent because I haven't filled in the Google AdSense thing. So, you know, for me, it is definitely not about the money. And the number of views I get, I think I've earned about, I don't know, $50 or something. So, yeah. So, I would just really like to grow a community. I think it's really, really important. Anyway, let's carry on with the finished objects. So, I think I had it as a whip. It still is a whip, really. On my last video, I was showing these socks that I was making for a subscriber on my other channel. And yes, oh, hold on. I've cast on for the second sock. I haven't got very far, as you can see. But I have finished a sock. It's not blocked. But I love how this Drops Fable is knitted up. It's really cheap as chips yarn. I got it from the Wool Warehouse. I think it was £1.70 a ball, and it's not a 100-gram ball, it's a 50-gram ball, so you need 2 for a pair of socks. But I've got that substantial amount left off the first ball. The only thing I would say is it is a little bit rustic compared to things like Emma's Perfectly Practical sock. It is a little bit rustic, but I'm hoping that with blocking and washing, it will soften up a bit. But you can't go wrong with that for value for money, can you really? No. And I think I might use this. Oh, hold on. The yarn is escaping. I might use what's left over to knit something for my next finished object. I think this is going to come with me to knitting tonight because I do need to crack on with that. Do you know, I lost my favourite sock pattern, and it was just a really, really vanilla sock, slip stitch heel, gusset, that kind of thing, and I've lost it. So I went down the rabbit hole of looking on Ravelry for a sock pattern, a simple sock pattern, and nearly everyone that I looked at that was simple used magic loop method. And for some reason I've got a real barrier in my brain about using magic loop. I think it's going to be a challenge for 2024 is to learn how to use magic loop, because there are some lovely sock patterns out there that I would like to explore. And yes, a lot of them use magic loop. Are you a double pin girl, double pointed needles girl, or are you a magic loop kind of knitter? I said girl, that's very putting assumptions out there that all of you are female. I know that probably 99.9% of you watching this are female. But no, do you like the double pointed needles for knitting in around? Or do you like the magic loop? somebody did comment, I think it was Sophia R on one of my videos, about she uses a 9-inch circular, which I think I might have to invest in, because you see, I like, once I'm in that zone, I like just going round and round and round and round. Whereas I've watched a couple of YouTube tutorials on the magic loop, and it's like you have to keep sliding. So you knit across 32 stitches or whatever half of your stitch count is, and then you have to slide the thing along, and it breaks that rhythm for me. So yeah, but I'm open to, you know, suggestions. And I think also it might be good for sleeves on top-down constructed garments. Anyway, that is that. So yes, I said I might use what's left over to knit something. This is another little bear. He is so different from Martha, and this is a boy. And this is for the winner of my Glad to Be Alive challenge. Sorry, I just knocked you then. On Paper and Twine. I think I've mentioned in one of the videos on here that I'm a cancer survivor twice, and every April I host, well, I say every April, I've done it for 3 years, or is it 2 years? I can't remember. I host a Glad to Be Alive challenge, and the first prize, everything is handmade and bespoke to you, but you have a choice of, amongst other things, a hand knitted gnome or a detective bear of your choice. And the winner wanted Dr. Spencer Reid from Criminal Minds. It's not a programme I've watched or a detective that I know, but I did some Google image searches of him, and he's tall and thin and wears quite a lot of beige and what have you. So I did him like this, and I really accentuated the tallness and the thinness of him. Yeah, I love him. I think he's the best bear I've ever made. And I just really like his long face. I think he looks very serious and studious. So this is Dr. Spencer Reid. And I'm going to knit either a little waistcoat or a little jacket for him, I think. But again, I don't want to cover his body up. And this was using yarn from my stash. It was Yorkshire Tweed 4-ply from Rowan, which is discontinued. It's been discontinued a long time ago, and I bought just one ball many years ago for the purpose of knitting a bear. And I love him. Sitting down, let's see how tall he is. Sitting down, he's 3.5 inches. Yes, so I love him. I absolutely love him. So I don't have any other finished objects to show you. Let's move that out of the way. Now let's do some whips then. So obviously those socks are work in progress, and I think now I've got to grips with the pattern that I have found, I can crack along with that quite quickly. But in here I have my Westnitz Geogradient. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Everything's all tangled up in here. I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it at all. And I really wish that I hadn't bought such expensive yarn for something that I didn't know what I was going to be knitting, and for something that I'm not particularly enjoying. I'm not in love with it. So I did, that looks like a dog's dinner. Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. Yeah, so I did the alternative that was on someone's Ravelry page of doing the triangles, and you pick them up as you go. You pick up each triangle as you go. So you do one and then you do the other, and you offset the stripes. Well, I got into a mess here in the middle, so the middle doesn't meet up. And I haven't even finished clue 2. I think I've done half of clue 2, which I do quite like. I'm hoping that the centre will sort itself out when I block it, if I finish it. I am going to finish it, but it's not a priority at the moment. I've seen spoilers of people's clue 3. I saw one and I thought, I don't like it. I really don't like it. But then actually looking at it, it looks like quite an interesting stitch that I've not done before. So yeah, I need to finish Clue 2 and hope that it will sort itself out. This yarn is very soft. It's ching fibre, but it pills like nobody's business. And you think you've paid all that money, and yeah, I don't know. The reason I did what I did for Clue 1 was that I hadn't got any double pointed needles in the right size to do the method that Stephen West suggested, and I didn't know how to do the magic loop, so that's why I went with what I did here. But don't like it. Don't like it. Not happy. Not happy. Am I going to frog? I don't know. Disappointing. I'm disappointing. I'm disappointing. Yes, I'm disappointing. No, I'm disappointed. However, what I am absolutely loving is colour work. I am fairly new to colour work. I have done one successful project. Well, even then it's not successful. This was last year. It was a 12 days of Christmas knit along, hosted by Nomadic Knits. The 12 days of Christmas knit along, and you knew that you were going to be knitting a cowl, and you knew that there was going to be colour work, and it suggested what yarn to use and told you that you needed, I think it was 4 colours. Is that right? Yes, 4 colours. So I used Emma's Perfectly Practical sock in this pink colour. I can't remember what this colour with the blue in was, but this was a solid, called Button, which I loved. And then the white is a solid as well. But I love it. Now, it's not perfect. It's not perfect at all. Can you see that it is significantly narrower at this end? I think this was my cast off end than my cast on end at the top, and I did block it. I loved this because there were just little pops of colour work and a little bit of lace, as you can see here, and then you've got your Christmas motifs. My favourite section is this down here, which has got some slip stitches and mosaic, and you can see I loved this colour. I have got a record of it somewhere. But yes, one thing I didn't do was I didn't go up a needle size for the stranded colour work because I thought I knew better. But no, good advice. You need to go up a colour size. That is my favourite section there. Love the colour work in that. So very, very simple colour work. And you've got like a snowflake motif and then a Christmas tree motif. And I'll talk about it in my upcoming potential projects. But that was the first time I'd done any serious colour work. I've done intarsia, like a lot of the Patricia Roberts stuff that I've done was intarsia, but I wouldn't say it was stranded colour work. So yeah, I love that. But I have nearly finished my Amber Shaw shawl. I'll just show you. This is for my friend Julie, who I met. I hired her to decorate some rooms in our house, and she's a lovely lady, and we hit it off, got a lot in common. She's done some knitting in the past. She's very creative and artistic. So Amber Shaw, this is the picture. I got this off Ravelry. In fact, I saw it on Pinterest, and do you know, I'm absolutely loving Pinterest for knitting inspiration. I've used it for paper crafting inspiration and other things for years, but not really for knitting. And then the odd knitting things started to come into my feed. And I've just like, instead of going on Ravelry now, because I find some of the icons on Ravelry, because I look on my iPad, quite small. And I could probably make them bigger, but then it puts a whole page out of cock. Yeah, so I'm absolutely loving Pinterest. And perhaps I'll show you a little bit of my Pinterest board. But this is by Ines Sang. I must look at some of her other patterns because I just love this, and it's been an absolute joy to knit, an absolute joy. So as I say, I saw this on Pinterest and I showed Julie and she said, oh yeah, I love it, and can we have it in similar colours? So the yarn that she calls for we can't get in the UK, so I've gone for Life in the Long Grass, and we've got similar colours. But I love this. It says, inspired by washed out amber amidst drying algae along the white sandy coastline of the Baltic Sea. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I have got, I think, about 8 rows left to do. And then I've got my ends to weave in and the blocking to do. But, oh, I'm using Life in the Long Grass. We ordered it from Loop, and 2 of the colours, there was only 1 left. This very dark green, it's got little bits of blue kind of tinge. There was only 1 left, and I think there was only 1 of this colour left as well. And Julie said, buy it now, buy it now. So we did. I have never knitted with Life in the Long Grass before. I absolutely love it. It gives brilliant stitch definition. Look at this. I love the variation in this creamy colour. The amber colour is pretty much, it's got the odd little bit of green in it, but I meant to count how many bubbles there were on this row. So I've got the wrong side row to do in this, and then I think I'm casting off pretty much, maybe not straight away. I've got literally 8 or 10 rows to do. I can't wait to cast this off. I'm meeting up with Julie potentially next Wednesday in a week, so I'm hoping it'll be blocked in time to give to her. But triangular shawl. So that's the bottom, and I just absolutely love these narrow stripes. How many times can I say the word love? But I'm not very good at doing bubbles. In the pattern it suggested a crochet bubble. Well, that turned me off. I was not very into doing that at all. But this section with all of these bubbles along here took me 4.5 hours, because there's over 500 stitches on the needle. 4.5 hours. I'm so glad I've done it. So glad it's finished. And you know, there's not many ends to weave in. There's the odd little individual feature. Not a mistake. No, not a mistake. Individual feature. And then this is the reverse. So I think that's looking quite neat. And when it's blocked, it's going to look lovely. So I am well happy with that. So future projects. I haven't printed off the pattern. I tried to buy it and I couldn't. It kept returning me to the merchant. So on Ravelry there is a Imagine Landscapes mystery knit along to knit a gnome, and I've ordered the kit from Giddy Yarns, 4 minis. I could have used what's in my stash, but I liked the colours. It's to knit a gnome called Mr. Knightley, and that starts on the 1st of December. The yarn should come any day now. Yes, but for some reason I couldn't purchase the pattern what is it with PayPal on Ravelry? I don't want to always use PayPal. Anyway, I came across a couple of things that are free. So if you get in quickly and you want to do some Christmas knitting, if you've got like a yarn advent coming, these things might be up your street. So Arne and Carlos have got a mystery stocking knit along, and they're going to release a clue every day from the 1st of December. And you need 3 50-gram balls of fingering weight yarn to do a stocking. I am thinking there's going to be a lot of stranded colour work. They've released the pattern for the toe already. You need to have the toe done before the 1st of December. So that's something that you might want to look out for. And then I so enjoyed my little MKAL that I did last year. I thought I might have a go at another one. And I do like it, really, really like it. So I could do something in different colours. So you need 1 skein of Emma's Yarn Suri Silk, a 50-gram ball. So you get 328 yards to 50 grams. And then you need 6 skeins of Emma's Yarn Practically Perfect Smalls. And I've got quite a lot. So I need some advice about colours. So yes, this just gives you the abbreviations and the what you need. But I would like a bit of guidance on contrast colours. What I might do is have a look and see if anybody's got any kits, and then kind of go with my own colours from there. But yes, both of those are free if you get in now. After a certain date, then they become paid for patterns. So that is that. What else? What else am I going to show you or tell you? Oh yes, I've got some acquisitions, haven't I? I haven't really got any yarn acquisitions. I have got something coming, but it hasn't arrived in time, so that'll have to come on to next month. Oh, and I've just had a notification yesterday that my yarn advent from Sherry Iris is on its way, so I should get that by the end of the week. Oh, I'm so excited. I am so excited for advent this year, because I've got my bothy threads to unwrap every day, and then I've got my Sherry Iris, and I've got something else coming as well from Giddy Yarns. I think it might be a Christmas Eve box, I'm not sure. But before I show you my acquisitions, which are mostly magazines, I am going to have 2 challenges to myself next year. I was supposed to be frugal this year, and I haven't been frugal. So next year I am going to be frugal, and I am only going to buy, if I like the look of it, Sherry Iris's Yarn Advent. I'm going to allow myself that, because I'm cutting down my working hours, so that's going to be quite a lot of money that I will lose. So I won't have the money to be profligate like I've been this year. So yes, I'm going to try not to buy any yarn unless it is for a commission. If somebody says, can you knit this for me, and I need to purchase the yarn, obviously they will be paying me for the yarn, then I can do that. The other thing is I'm going to knit through my stash. I am going to catalogue before the new year all the yarn that I've got and work out how many metres of yarn I've got, and I'm going to knit my way through it. And I'm going to set myself, whatever the total meterage of yarn is that I own, I'm going to set myself a challenge to knit a percentage of it in 12 months. So that is that. Anyway, yes, so at Torm, I bought several things. Sadly, last year there was, in March when I went, is it Mulberry Silks? They were there and they weren't there this year. Probably just as well. Anyway, I have bought some vintage knitting magazines. So I've got some old Women's Weeklies here from the 1960s that I'm going to look through. But this This is from I can't remember whether it's the 1940s or not. This is really old anyway. It doesn't say when it was published. But yes, I just thought it would be really good to have a look at how patterns were written, because that's something I want to get into, is designing some patterns. Yeah, this is from 1962, the one that's on there. And it's probably nothing that I want to knit, but it's just the history of it. So I got those. And then I was ripped off with this, actually. I thought I'd have a go at this. So this is a lucette, if you've ever seen one before. And you make braid and cord with it. I paid £14 for this with a little bit of hand-dyed yarn in it. And I could have, it's got the instructions. I think I'll have to resort to YouTube. But I did see somebody else selling one of these for £7 without any instructions. So I've paid £7 in effect for a little bit of yarn and the instructions. So yeah, so that's what I got from there. And then I went on a trip to Birmingham recently, and they've got quite a good magazine section. So I picked up in there Autumn 2023 Pom-Pom magazine. I want to have a really nice long soak in the bath. Oh, that looks lovely. I want to have a really nice long soak in the bath and have a flick through these. But these are just going to go in my knitting archive. There's some colour work there. Yeah. That's nice, isn't it? Golden grass. So that's Pom-Pom magazine. And then I used to buy this all the time. My local WH Smith's, for those of you that don't live in the UK, WH Smith's is a stationery shop. Sells newspapers, books, magazines, stationery, toys, jigsaws, all kinds of things. It's a real kind of stalwart of the British High Street. And our one in Rugby used to have all the international knitting magazines. Used to get Vogue, International Knitting Magazine, Interweave Knits, and they don't anymore. I know I could probably ask them to get them for me, but I thought, oh, this is a real blast from the past, Interweave Knits. I used to have loads of these. So yeah, I'm going to have a little flick through this. It's just nice also. The other reason I bought it was it's nice to have a look at the advertisers. And then also this isn't a knitting magazine, but I read this on the train back from Birmingham. Fair, is that how you would pronounce that, or fairy? This is a beautifully produced magazine. It's printed in France. Look at that. Absolutely love it. It's a work of art in itself. That wasn't cheap. That was £15, but there's some lovely stuff in there. And then this is something I'm definitely not going to be buying next year. I'm not going to be buying magazines next year. I've just got the autumn edition of Knitting Magazine, just to see what's what. And again, also for advertisers. There's a lovely article on here on John Arbon textiles. That's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah. So that's that. I've been on absolutely ages, haven't I? I hope I haven't bored you to death. I did say that I didn't think I'd be able to do Vlogmas. I don't think I can do Vlogmas because I am still going to be working 2.5 days a week. But there will be some videos going on during the Advent season where I will share with you my Sherry Iris Yarn Advent. I'll try and link everything that I've talked about in the description box down below. And I'll be back soon with a little bit more progress on things, hopefully. And yeah, let me know what you're knitting on, what your plans are. And please, I'd love it if you gave a thumbs up and considered subscribing if you're not already. I do value every single view. I think my first video, absolutely outstanding. Never, ever contemplated that or considered that it would do so well. I think it's got over 8,500 views now, which for little somebody like me is just astounding. YouTube obviously liked me on that occasion. I hope you've enjoyed this little chat anyway, and I will be back soon. Take care, everybody. Be kind, make positive choices, and put love into every stitch that you knit. Take care. Bye now.